Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Another broke millennial, that's me, reacting to millennial money living together on $178,000 in Chicago. Little different episode today. It looks like we have our first couple. All the past videos have been single individuals with their salaries by themselves, maybe with roommates, but focusing on themselves. Here, we're gonna see how these two can coexist and how the financial dynamics differ a little bit, if at all, with a couple. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so yet. Comment down below if you'd like to see me react to anything else, but let's get into it.
The arts and ballet specifically sort of have a stigma of not being a lucrative profession. And that for me is a shame, because if you're a ballet dancer, you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it because you love it and it's something you're passionate about. But it is a profession that a lot of people make a very, very good living.
Okay, another twist. So also looks like two people that aren't in a traditional sort of job we've had in the past, right? Software engineers, students, investment finance roles, but here, a little bit different, ballet dancers. So I'm curious to see how this goes.
My name is Dylan Gutierrez. I'm 30 years old.
I'm Geraldine Mendoza. I'm 29 years old.
And together we make $178,000 a year.
As professional ballet dancers here in Chicago, Illinois.
We both met at the Joffrey Ballet. Geraldine joined in 2011 and I joined in 2009. Once she joined the company, we crossed paths kind of immediately, and the rest is history. Last year, I took home about $77,000 from the Joffrey Ballet.
And I made $66,000 from the Joffrey Ballet.
First thing I noticed right off the bat is that $178,000 seems like a lot, right? If this was a single individual, we saw a lady previously with like 200 plus, but that was one person. But thinking about one person, 178 is a lot, but two people, that's actually pretty doable. Like the median income of a young professional out of college is almost 60,000. So two people, that's already 120. These people are a little bit older in their careers, 178. So hey, maybe the tip is to live with somebody else, put those two salaries together, have yourself a pretty decent yearly income. And they also make some additional money teaching classes. So talking about side hustles, perfect way to make some extra money. Things that you're already doing, things that you know about, make some extra money off of it.
Last year, I made $15,000 in additional income.
And I made $20,000 in additional income.
We bought this apartment 3 years ago.
In 2017 of May.
And it was originally listed at $349,000. Actually, we managed to get it for $338,000 because we offered free tickets to the ballet for a season to the previous owners.
We put down $15K. We were kind of upset that it didn't come with a parking spot. But in the long run, we're so thankful because we don't have a car, and I don't think we'd ever have a car here in Chicago.
Low 300s for an apartment. That looks pretty good. Some parts in the country, maybe that's enough to get you a house. But for some of the more expensive areas, that is definitely a pretty good deal. And it looks like their place is pretty nice. So once again, two people combine those incomes, one person making 70 grand a year, probably not going to be able to afford it, but you got two. Same with splitting rent. One person, that one bedroom apartment for $2 grand a month might seem pretty expensive, but you got a roommate, you got someone else to share it with, cut everything in half. It's a win-win.
Our big main renovations were the kitchen and then the 2 bathrooms. I don't really budget per se, but when I do spend my money, I make sure that it is somewhat essential. I don't go to the nail salon, I just cut my nails myself. We don't buy water bottles, we try not to buy coffee. Just those little things that we could spend money on, they do add up.
Okay, let's take a look into this budget. Spending about $7,000 a month. A lot of it coming for food. $3,000. What? Hold up. A lot of these previous episodes, they're at what, like $500, $600? Even if you have two people, $1,500 almost. They're spending almost $3,000 on food. Groceries, eating out, takeout. They must be getting a lot of takeout. And they're in the background talking about, oh yeah, you know, we don't buy water bottles, we don't buy coffee. You're spending $3,000 on food. I'm sure, like, if you just don't go out to eat a couple less times a month and cook at home, you can buy all the water bottles and coffee you want. Wow, that's crazy. All right, mortgage $2,000, not bad. Pet, it looks like, yeah, their dog's going through some treatments. I know there's pet insurance out there. Not too sure how it works, but if you have a pet, something you could look into. Utilities, $500 almost. Seems pretty high. Well, like internet, 60, TV. Yeah, that seems pretty high for utilities. Hobbies, $220. Phone bill, $165. That seems pretty high too. I know there's a lot of places that will do like $40 a month plus like another $30 for the second line. So don't know where that's coming from. Cabs, $130. They mentioned not needing a car, but they're spending $130 on cabs per month. So I don't know, maybe in the long run it might be actually cheaper to just get a cheap car or something like that. Subscriptions, $105, not too bad. They have YouTube TV down there, but I'd actually put that under utilities traditionally, right? If I had like a cable subscription, go towards utilities. That's pretty much what it is. But hey, overall, I want to know more about that food spending. Utilities seem pretty high, so this is not as cut and dry as some of these previous episodes. People really trying to pinch their pennies. The other guy that we saw last time, he would skip meals because he didn't have enough money for food. This is the complete opposite. So I want to know what's going on here.
We do split pretty much everything right down the middle.
We love to go out to dinner, we love to go with friends, and also it's been really helpful in relationship building for us around Chicago. We've made some really good friends with owners and managers of certain restaurants that we really like.
Okay, so this was just August. I don't know what it is for the other months. It might fluctuate, but man, that is a lot of money on take. When you're spending the same amount on takeout as you are on your monthly mortgage payment, there is a problem here. 100% would not recommend for any broke millennials. Maybe if you have some of that rich millennial money, yes. I don't get it. This does not make any type of sense to me, because also you're spending $2,000 plus on restaurants and takeout. So what are you spending $520 on groceries for? You're obviously not cooking at home. Some people's average monthly grocery bill cooking at home every day is less than that. So I don't even know what they're spending all this money on food. They must be eating great. I talk about this with the athletes, with the private chefs. You need good food to keep your body running well. Dancers, probably the same. They need to be in good physical condition. But I'm at a loss for words here. I don't know what to say.
I grew up in San Francisco, California, and my parents invested in a lot of properties pretty early. My parents kind of have this money philosophy of, if you don't need it, you shouldn't buy it. And I kind of adapted that philosophy.
My relationship with money growing up wasn't really like a focal point of my kind of family's outlook. Both of my parents are artists. My dad being a musician and my mom being a ballet dancer and a ballet teacher. It wasn't like something we mainly discussed. When I met Geraldine, she really taught me how to value having money. I used to value spending my money, like getting it in and then seeing what I could spend it on. And with her, she taught me how to value actually having it in the bank.
My number one rule with my checking account, my spending money, is that I always have a cushion of $1,000 in there, no matter what.
Okay, guys. I mean, it's good to think about saving and to think about budgeting. But I really think if you're spending, I just can't get over the food. If you're spending that much money on food, I don't think anything else really matters what you do. You're putting $500 a week. It's good, great. Don't get me wrong. They're building up a savings. And I would also argue that $1,000, it sounds like emergency fund, is not enough. The past episodes, people have done very well budgeting, saving money. Here, I think we're looking into something that we can learn from and not replicate.
So the retirement age for ballet, it really varies. Some people it's 25, they go on to do something else, but full career in ballet will usually end around 35 or 40. It's really important to save now, and we're savers. We like to see our savings. We have it in a savings account.
Okay, never mind. I guess that accounts just for like everyday spending, but yeah, they have almost $50,000 in savings. That's going to be good for you. If your career is expected to end when you're 40, now I'm sure they're going to work hopefully after that, after they've stopped maybe as like a coach or an instructor, open up their own ballet troupe, whatever that case might be. So hopefully they're not planning on retiring at 40, because then you would probably need a couple $1 million already saved up. It's good that they're saving, but I really do think they can save a lot more if they just cut down on that food, right? Eat out one less time a week, and you have so much more money to save or to spend on other things. It's not even funny.
We don't have a 401k. I don't like the idea of waiting to see that money when you're 65.
Especially since our retirement age is 35, 40.
Okay, so some valid points here, some not. Not having a 401k, that's fine. They have a pension, they have other savings, right? You don't necessarily need a 401k if you already have a pension. But they also mentioned retiring at 40. With the amount of money that they've shown here, I personally don't think that's possible. Pensions, they usually pay out like a percentage of your salary times years worked. It might be different for this union, but how that works is a lot of people, they've maybe been at a company for 30 to 40 years and they're going to get a pension. But here, if you don't work as long, once again, these deals may be structured differently. Your pension may not be as high. And sure, you don't need a 401k account to save for retirement, right? The reason people do is that it has a lot of tax benefits. The money is either not taxed when you take it out. It reduces your taxable income when you put it into those accounts. We're talking about 401ks and Roth IRAs. That's the main advantage, right? The point is not to just have a 401k account, wait till you're 65. You wait till you're 65 because that's when you can start taking it out without penalty and when you get those tax benefits. A lot of people who choose to retire early will still have a 401k account, but they'll probably also have a couple $100,000, if not more, in just a normal investment account or in a savings account for them to use between retirement and they're 65 or whatever the age is when they can withdraw from those retirement accounts. So I think they have a little bit of a misconception with these retirement accounts. And I think that, once again, the money that they're showing me is not going to be anywhere near enough to completely stop working at 40. I don't know what their plans are after then, teaching, coaching, owning some type of business. But this concerns me.
We were very much impacted by COVID-19. We usually have a program in October, which is about 10 shows, and then of course we have the famous Nutcracker, which runs for about 30 shows in December. And unfortunately, Nutcracker and our October program were both canceled this season. You know, while it's a huge blow, we both have been taken very good care of by the Joffrey and the dancers as well.
Okay, that's actually awesome, from taking care of the dancers and trying to do what they can, which is great. But if this pandemic continues, things might get kind of hard for them.
During COVID, the Joffrey gave each dancer a 4x6 piece of marley, which is kind of flooring that's appropriate for doing ballet. So we laid it out here. We moved this table over there and moved that couch here so we could have like a
dance studio. My last very big splurge was an engagement ring for Geraldine. I proposed to her almost a year ago on September 26th. I did spend a lot of my money on her ring. I wanted her to have something really beautiful on her finger for the rest of our lives, and I wanted it to be really special for her. And honestly, you know, if I had
Oh, that's so cute. Great for them. Really do wish them the best.
all the money in the world, I would spend it on Geraldine if I had the choice.
We're not in a rush really because we're essentially married already. But also our dog Kahlua is a little old lady. She was diagnosed with lymphoma. I think we spent almost like $8,000 to $9,000 on her chemo treatments. And actually yesterday morning we found out that she got it again. The thought of like going to Italy and leaving her behind is like definitely not a priority for us.
We love her very much and don't want to give up on her, so we're going to go ahead with treatments with her again and do our best to keep her around as long as possible.
Well, that's just so sad to hear. Once again, wish them the best, and it's unfortunate that they've had to postpone other plans, but as with a lot of things, unexpected things happen.
Our career goals for After We Dance seem pretty lofty. It's one of the reasons why we have kind of strict saving rules and why Geraldine wants us to save a lot of money. One of my goals is to start a production company eventually. So I would really like to create a lot more content around the arts that doesn't just relate to other artists and dancers. I want it to relate to people as a whole.
And I would love to pursue a career in interior design after I'm done dancing. I don't know which avenue to take. I just know that I love to kind of curate rooms and vibes, and it kind of gives me the same joy as when I'm dancing on stage. After our careers in dance, we would still like to hopefully have this place and Airbnb it or rent it out, depending on where we move. But we would like to move back to California eventually, but I feel like our apartment here is kind of prime real estate because we're right next to Wrigley Field.
The reason why I wanted us to be profiled was I think it's important for people to know that you can make a living in the arts. It's not just the people you've heard of that are doing well. Obviously, we don't make a ton of money.
Yeah, I think that's great and clears up a lot of the things. When they talk about retired from dancing, they're just saying that they're not dancing anymore. They obviously plan on working, plan on pursuing other goals, creative goals for them, which is awesome. Wish them the best once again. Real estate investing in California, you're going to need a lot more money saved up than that. It just goes back to the point, they focus on saving, which is great, but where you begin saving is your spending. That's the first thing. If you cut down on spending, that's also saving, right? So I don't know, I just still can't get over the food part, but hey, it's great that they have plans for